The Richmond Radicals are trying to destroy Virginia, and the special session begins August 18th.
And you better believe they're coming for your guns.
Welcome to VCC Liberty Lounge. I'm Donna.
I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Chris.
And we're here today to talk with you about Virginia Constitutional Conservatives. We're going to talk a little bit about what the organization is, what we're doing, and how you can get involved. And with that, Jimmy, tell us a little bit about the organization.
Well, Donna, thank you for having us. And, Virginia Constitutional Conservatives is a issues-based grassroots organization. We train grassroots activists, we mobilize grassroots activists, and we also help elect conservative candidates. We're also a confrontational-based organization, and we don't play nice with bad politicians.
And what I'm understanding is, and Chris, maybe you can elaborate on this a little bit, it's one of the fastest growing grassroots organizations in the state right now.
Oh, absolutely. We are the fastest growing grassroots organization in Virginia. And it's been, remarkable the growth that we've had because we use sound, proven tactics to change the political environment.
Wow, that's real exciting. And so when did you guys get started?
Well, we started in 2017, about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And the group's grown quite substantially since then, with the recent attempts of the Richmond Radicals to fundamentally destroy our state. We've seen rapid growth. We've been traveling the state training, activists. I think about 400 to date.
That's really awesome. Okay, cool. So what are a couple of ways that you've been able to grow the organization so quickly? Obviously there are some major things happening with, what's going on with our governor and our legislature, and people are not happy. They're actually, I would go as far as to say angry. And so how are you engaging these folks?
Well, what we're seeing today in Virginia, honestly, is a revolution of the people. It's not a revolution of any particular political party, because what we're facing is essentially the most corrupt government we've ever had in Virginia. We have, Radical Ralph Northam, our current governor, issuing unconstitutional executive orders, essentially shutting down our state, while at the same time ordering police to stand down when we have rioters burning down our streets. And now, with the special session coming up, they're looking to essentially gut your ability to defend yourself. They want to try to go and take away your firearms so that, you can't defend your own life, the lives of those you love, and, your property. Mm-hmm. And we really have to act. And people are really responding to this because, it's not the politicians that keep liberty alive, it's the people that keep liberty alive.
Yes, I totally agree. And that is one of the main reasons I got involved with VCC a number of months ago, because I would show up at meetings and I just didn't feel like I was doing enough, or things weren't organized. And so I feel like just the little bit of time that I've been involved with the organization, I have felt like I have contributed to meaningful change, even in my own town, my own county. And so I'm really excited to see how fast the organization is growing. And we've got some people who are really, they're just ready to take action. And these are the types of people that we want to be, engaging and have working alongside of us. So with that, though, I'm wondering a little bit about the confrontational piece. I know, Jimmy, you mentioned that when you opened up. So tell us, what do you mean when you say we're a confrontational organization? Help our audience.
So we basically believe that the people control the political environment. We get politicians to act the way we want them. We basically ask them a simple question. You're either gonna vote the way I want you to vote in the General Assembly, or we're gonna make sure you don't win the next election. And how do we do that? We put pressure on them. We ask our followers to call them, send emails, and that puts, that causes political pain on the politicians. So then they end up voting the way you want them. We were able to turn 3 Democratic senators on Northam's gun ban. And so how do we do that? We asked all our followers in Virginia to call them, and they did. And then those senators backed down from House Bill 961, which was basically Northam's gun ban.
Right. The thing that politicians fear the most is demonstrable proof of large numbers of angry voters, right? Mm-hmm. And by engaging our members and those who support us in this fight, we've been able to stop Northam's gun ban. And if you remember back in the 2020 original session, we had Northam trying to pass basically the prohibition of any modern semi-automatic firearm in standard capacity magazines. They tried to push this through, obviously, because Michael Bloomberg had bought most of the seats in Virginia, and he was busy having fun with his failed presidential campaign. And he came to Virginia, and they tried to push this thing through. But in one weekend, we sent out over 800,000 phone calls. We reached out to gun owners in the state, and the intent was to have them put pressure on the legislature. In the end, what happened is that bill was tabled. Essentially, they pushed it back to either the 2021 session, or now we're facing a real danger with Ralph Northam calling the special session, which starts on August 18th.
Right. Yeah, I've been reading about that.
Yeah, it's really scary because they create a special session, and in this session, only the bills that the governor supports will be voted upon. And unlike last time when they announced they were going to try to ban semi-automatic firearms in Virginia, what they're doing is trying to sneak it in. Okay, they're not going to let us know, because last time we were able to mobilize and we were able to engage the voters of Virginia and have them defeat this bill. What they're trying to do is they're trying to sneak it in on August 18th. They're not going to announce they're doing this, but because if they did, they know we'd oppose them.
Right.
But what's happening is that we are mobilizing right now to stop them. And it's absolutely ridiculous that they're going to allow the police or demand the police stand down, right?
Right.
They're going to allow rioters in the streets, and then they want to disarm law-abiding citizens.
And let me add, I've been seeing, and I am sure you guys are well aware of this, at this time we are seeing record numbers of gun purchases, and of gun owners. Like, so many of these people who are buying firearms are first-time gun owners because they see what's happening. I mean, you see what's happening. I mean, we're all watching this on the news daily, and so now it just becomes somewhat oxymoronic even that the people who now find ourselves wanting to defend ourselves, we're having to also go up against this gun grab, really, for things that we legally own.
Well, Donna, let me tell you something. It actually gets better.
Better.
It gets better.
Or worse, which one?
Or worse. Then you have politicians, our so-called friends, Republicans, trying to make the gun ban even better. They want to put a lipstick on the pig and trying to make it better. But, we are a no-compromise organization.
Yes.
You cannot make a bad bill better.
No, absolutely. And that's the word you've got to tell your politicians, because too many Republicans, like with Obamacare, they will try to make a bad bill better. If you make it better, then moderates who right now have opposed this bill will then be freed up to vote for it. As we know, there are essentially 6 senators that determine whether or not you can own a semi-automatic firearm in Virginia. And we need to, put maximum pressure on them, and at the same time, don't let Republicans put lipstick on the pig, okay? Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to sell you out, and then they will show up after they've made the bill passable by making slight tweaks to it. They will show up and say they fought to change it, okay? And they'll ask for your vote in the next election. We absolutely cannot let that happen. What we have to do is demand that any Republican who tries to make Northam's gun grab better is essentially trying to grease the wheel so that it passes. We can't allow that to happen. We absolutely cannot. We must be sure that no Republican and no moderate Democrat works to make this bad bill better, because then it's harder to repeal and it will pass. Okay? And there are essentially 6 senators that will determine whether or not this bill passes. They're going to try to sneak it in. They're going to try to, probably with controlling the majority in the legislature, they'll probably try to sneak it in a second reading as an amendment to an already existing bill. And what they'll try to do is they'll try to slide it in when no one's paying attention. But we're paying attention.
Yes.
We are watching what they do in Richmond. We are paying attention to every vote they cast. And anybody who tries to make this bill better, or anybody who votes for this bill, will face severe consequences in the next election. We are going to change the political environment. Liberty was secured in Virginia in 1781 in Yorktown. We cannot let it fade away. We must never compromise, we must never back down, and we must always fight and never stop fighting.
Yes, yes, yes to all of that. So you talked a lot about this gun grab and how it really started with the first session of this legislature, right? So if I'm understanding correctly, the legislature that we have, so a lot of these legislators, these elected officials, they were voted in back in November, right?
Correct.
So that's when we moved from, having, basically the whole legislature is now Democrat. So our House of Delegates, the state Senate, and the governor, all Democrat. And so it was with this takeover of the Democratic Party that we saw this really, basically this grab on so many of our rights. It's not just gun rights.
No, but it's not just the Democrats either. Let's be honest. We have quite a few Republicans right now who have voted to gut your Second Amendment protected rights, like State Senator Emmett Hanger, okay, or State Senator Donovan, okay? They both voted for universal federal gun registration when they voted for House Bill number 2. We simply cannot permit them to stab us in the back anymore.
Right.
We have to fight to hold them accountable to their campaign promises.
Right.
And then we have to work, whether it's State Senator John Edwards or State Senator Chap Petersen or Creigh, okay, or Lynwood Lewis. Last time he said he wouldn't vote for this gun ban.
And then he voted for it?
No, he didn't vote for it, but he
Okay.
hasn't gone on record this time to do so. So what we need is we need all those who are watching this video and all our members become engaged. We need to call these senators. We need to tell them, we're going to list below a list of senators that you need to call and tell them they must oppose any gun ban, okay? No matter what changes they make, we have to oppose this.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, with that, and I want to turn it back over to Jimmy for a second. So when we talk about people getting engaged and involved, and how where can we help them do that, right? So I know we've got some information on our website, but what else do we have that they can start participating in?
Let me start with something that Chris and I have been doing up and down the state. We've been holding grassroots activist training all over the state, and we got 2 coming up. In August 15th, we'll be in Lynchburg. Chris and I will be in Lynchburg training future grassroots activists that are going to be getting involved in their localities and their races in 2021. And also we're going to have another training coming up on September 19 in Winchester, Virginia. We're training future grassroots activists, trying to get them involved in their local elections, because it's the people that control their local political environment, not the political class, not the politicians.
Exactly. A lot of people think that the only way to have power in politics is to be a politician or to work for a politician. That's called access, okay? Access only works if you want to rename a bridge, okay? when you're fighting on real serious issues, okay, creating confrontational politics, going out and attacking politicians in their districts is what changes their mind and will change their vote. We saw that back on Northam's first attempt with the gun grab, okay? When we went into their districts and rampaged essentially and contacted thousands of voters and told them that they had to reach out, they did. And what happened? The gun ban was stopped. But now we're facing the same thing coming up on the 18th of this month.
Yes.
We need to get people engaged. You need to take action, because if you're waiting for a politician or a judge to save you, you've already lost.
Yes.
It's over.
Yes.
Because everybody, I hear so many times people say that, if we lose on this vote, we're going to take it to court. But the fact of the matter is, we're in the 4th Circuit Court. That's the same court that's upheld Maryland's insane gun bans, okay?
Yeah.
So if anybody tells you that, they're a liar, okay?
Well, it's already too late. Why would we ever want to take that chance?
And the Supreme Court's not even taking any gun.
The Supreme
Amendment.
Court.
Yep.
Yeah,
No.
right.
It's
They're
not
not
doing
taking
anything.
And so really what we're talking about is we are a constitutional republic, and
Right.
so therefore the power resides with the people.
Exactly.
And this is our opportunity to take the power back. These representatives are to be working on our behalf, and it is up to us to hold them accountable. And so I highly encourage you all to get engaged today. Like Jimmy said, there are some trainings coming up. Go to our Facebook page. We have the events listed there. We're also going to encourage you to sign up for, get alerts on our page. So like and follow our page there. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Twitter. And one of the most important things you can do other than donate, I'll get to that in a second, is sign up for our emails. So we've got a lot of people receiving our emails. And in those emails, you get, the information, like Chris said, we are monitoring what's happening in Richmond. And so we want to keep you informed, and we make it very easy for you to take action. So when we say email and call, we even give you a little bit of a script so that you know exactly what you need to say, and we keep it very easy. So anyways, I encourage you to do those things. We also have an excellent program with hundreds, if not more, Virginians involved, and it's called our Minuteman program. And so, Jimmy, do you want to talk about our Minuteman program for just a second?
Yeah, our Minuteman program is a great program. It's our membership program. It's $17.75 a month, which basically, keeps us funded to help us do our phone calls and mailers and so forth. And also, those group of people, when we ask them to do certain things, whether call a politician or head down to Richmond, they act within minutes notice of us asking them. So sign up for our Minuteman program. Chris, did I miss anything? Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's aware of the Minutemen in 1775. Okay, these were people who were supposed to respond to government tyranny within a few minutes' notice. That's the name, Minutemen. So what we created was a Virginia Minutemen program. The idea was we need a fast-acting, essentially fire team to turn around and swing into action when we need it. The goal is these people receive updated emails constantly from me. I probably overwhelm them with emails, but letting them know what happens in Richmond. And the idea was they pledge to swing into action within 3 to 4 hours, contact and put pressure on the elected official, whether it's a state delegate or a state senator. And also they help us fund our programs. Let's be honest, because donations are ammunition in politics. If you don't have ammunition, you can't fight. The worst thing in the world is the sound of a gun going click in the middle of a gunfight.
Right.
And if we run out of money, we can't fund our programs. We've been very lucky and very blessed, I will say, with the donors that we have right now. We all understand that Soros and Bloomberg are pumping millions into our state. These are out-of-state special interest dollars. We live solely on the donations of Virginians.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the Minutemen are very key. They are the front line of freedom. They fight for you and I. They fight for our God-given, constitutionally enshrined rights, and they swing into action. And these are wonderful people. If you are dedicated, like we are, to preserving the right to keep and bear arms and our individual liberty here in Virginia, we ask that you join the Minutemen. We're going to put the link up down below so that you can join up. It does come. We do require the Minutemen to act. Because again, I can't say this enough. If you're waiting for someone else to save you, you've lost.
Yeah.
And we thank the current Minutemen that have been funding us throughout the gunfight and the legislative session.
Yeah, and you raise a good point. So like we said, there are a few things that you can do. You can do the training, you can sign up to receive some of our content. And one of the other things I want to mention too is we've been doing some of the public meetings. So we just had an excellent meeting out in Bluemont. We had more than 100 people show up just to hear more about the organization, and people signed up that night to get engaged. I mean, we had so many people that were grateful to hear the information. They're just happy to know that there's a group out there, us, that is organized and mobilized for action. And so if you're interested in maybe hosting a public meeting or one of the trainings that Jimmy was talking about, we would love to connect with you. So you can always email us at info@virginiaconservatives.net, and we'll have that down in the description too. So you can email us and say that you're interested in hosting something in your area, because we'll work with you to make that happen. And on that note, we are also starting to put together county teams across the state. And so, Chris, do you want to say a word or two about that?
Right. What we want to do is we want to create county teams. And these county teams will be able to swing into action, like for the special session, which starts on August 18th. The ideal is they will fight local issues, whether it is using House Bill 421, where they're trying to create more victim zones, where they're banning law-abiding citizens from carrying firearms, or whether it's fighting against tax increases. There's a million different issues. But the ideal is, so when they do try to slide in the gun ban on August 18th, which sources have told us they're going to do, we can swing into action and fight and stop them. And trust me, this issue is not going away. Michael Bloomberg, who funded the majority of the Democratic legislators,
Yeah.
right? He wants to ban law-abiding citizens from owning common semi-automatic firearms with standard capacity magazines. It's absolutely ridiculous because not only is he demanding that, but he's also demanding that our police stand down, that our
Right.
cities are set on fire.
Those just don't
It's
go together.
absolutely corrupt.
Those just don't go together.
Corrupt.
Right.
It absolutely is.
Right. And so one of the other and the final things that I want to talk about really quickly, just to tell people how they can get involved. Now, we talk about time, treasure, and talent, and that's what it really takes to be organized and mobilized. Not everybody has time to show up and work the polls or maybe work on one of our campaigns. Some people, we have varying skill sets, so people contribute where they can. Some people would rather just write a check. They're like, I don't have time to show up at some of your events. I don't have time to organize something. So we really have a lot of people that are like, I just want to be able to help fund all of the great stuff that you're doing. So there are ways that people can donate through our website. And so if you just want to talk a little bit about that.
Right. What we have several programs. First of all, the Minutemen do donate $17.75.
And that's a
month.
recurring
Right.
monthly.
That's a recurring monthly donation. We also have our website, Restore Virginia Now. And that has absolutely terrified the gun-grabbing liberals because they realize that we are mobilizing to take our state back in 2021, right? So they're going to try to ram their agenda through right now,
Yeah.
okay? And we need to stop them, okay? And we need to replace those, we're looking at 10 different districts right now. And we don't want run-of-the-mill Republicans. We want bomb-throwing liberty lovers who will fight the establishment to repeal every single law that the radicals in Richmond have passed, and then make us even more free than we were on November 5th of 2019.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And so we're teaming with many national organizations to make this a possibility. Okay?
Wonderful.
And Chris, to comment on your liberty-loving, bomb-throwing candidates,
That's a good way to put it, Jim. I love that.
Exactly.
But I always ask the question, why don't we have constitutional carry today? We had a Republican majority, and
because Republicans voted against it.
Exactly.
Emmett Hanger, down the senator in the 24th district, voted to force you to continue to pay a tax and beg the government's permission to exercise your God-given Second Amendment protected rights.
I don't see
The
where it
last
says.
thing we need is we absolutely cannot have Republicans stabbing us in the back. That's why we are a nonpartisan, issue-based group. I don't care if someone's hiding behind a D label or they're hiding behind an R label. If they vote against the United States Constitution and your individual liberty, we're coming after you.
Because the
Yes.
Constitution doesn't say where you have to beg the government to carry a firearm.
Exactly.
So-
Exactly.
And so many other things.
So many other
Okay, well, thank you so much for that rundown. Really appreciate you guys sharing with us a little bit about the Virginia Constitutional Conservatives, all the great work that you're doing, that we're doing, and the wins that we've even seen so far. Like you said,
Absolutely.
with the gun grab,
Yep.
we got them to back down. It did not go away fully like we would have hoped. So that's why we're on watch right now to make sure that they don't try to pull anything sneaky, crazy, whatever. So we highly encourage you guys to get involved. Again, we'll have the links and the information down in the description, so check that out, hit that subscribe button, and tune in for the next episode of the VCC Liberty Lounge.
And remember, if you're waiting for a politician to save you, you've already
We
lost.
lost.
Exactly.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.